Jai Jai Shishi Guru Garanga Gandhar Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Juki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Juki Jai Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Juki Jai Nitya Lila Pavishtam Vishnupad Ashutara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Shila Gurudev Ki Jai Nitya Lila Pavishtam Vishnupad Ashutara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai Nitya Lila Pavishtam Vishnupad Ashutara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitya Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatara Shata Shishmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai Nitya Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatara Shata Shishmad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitya Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Shila Gaur Kishoras Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Nitya Pravishta Shila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Nitya Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Rupa Nagakoriya Guru Varga Ki Jai Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Shad Gosai Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Swarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai Namachay Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Kshetra Mandala, Gora Mandala, Vraja Mandala, Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Sarva Abhishta Vedanta Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kunda Ki Jai Shri Amuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya Ki Jai Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sank Shri Purushottam Dev Ki Jai Shri Purushottam Vrat Ki Jai Vrat Palan Kari Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Golden Volcano of Divine Love Ki Jai Srila Bhakti Rakṣaka Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Om Hare Krishna everybody Hari Bol Kuruna Didi You're there from the very, very beginning, first program all the way till the end. You're one of the most, yeah, I'll follow everything. Hare Krishna, Ganga Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All right, so now we're going to, today, yesterday we read Srila Bhakti Rakṣaka Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja's explanation on the first verse of Shikshashtakam. And today we'll read his explanation on verses 2 and 3 of Shikshashtakam. And so first we'll begin by singing Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's kirtan that he wrote for the second verse of Shikshashtakam. Hare Krishna Vidyalala Siddhidi and Govinda Sahaprabhu. Hare Krishna. Okay. Oh, been really out of it this morning for some reason. It's probably because I didn't sleep. I went to sleep late. Okay. Let me find it. How does the song start? I think it starts. No. Shoot. Let me just type in Nam Nam. Oh wait. How does the verse? No. I would say Shikshashtakam. That's what we'll look up. Tuhu Doya Sagara. Oh yeah, duh. Okay, so the golden complexioned savior of the age of Kali, Shri Gaurahari, sings as follows, overwhelmed with pav. Oh, wait, no, not that one. Sorry, guys. as I said, I'm really tired this morning, so I'm like a little spacey. Okay, so Tuhu Doya Sagara. This is his Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's song based on the second verse of Rakṣaka, which we'll be reading about today. You are an ocean of mercy. To deliver the living beings, you have brought and taught your innumerable holy names. You have invested your full potency in your holy names and have made no restrictions regarding time or place. The touchstone of Śrīnam is equal to you. You have distributed this treasure house of mercy throughout the entire creation. Such is your supremely magnanimous compassion, O Lord, but my luck is extremely poor. My anurag, my intense affection for Śrīnam, has never awakened. Thus, the heart of Bhakti Vinod is overcome with sorrow. Hari Bol Kishore Prabhu.
Gaur.
Atoho daya sagara taraite prane namayane katua shikhao daya sagara taraite prane namayane katua ashikao liyane asakala shakati de name tohara grahanera khilo nahi kala vichara sakala shakati de name tohara grahanera khilo nahi kala vichara Śrīnama chintamane tohari samana vishve bilao akaruna nidana Śrīnama chintamane tohari samana vishve bilao akaruna nidana tua daya aichana paramayudara atishaya mandana bhagahamara tua daya aichana paramayudara atishaya mandanat bhagahamara nahi janamala name anuraga mor nahi janamala name anuraga mor bhakti vinoda chitte oh bhakti vinoda Chitta Dukhe Vibhor. O Bhakti Vinora Chitta Dukhe Vibhor. Tuhu Daya Sagara Taraite Prani. Tuhu Daya Sagara Taraite Prani. Namane Katua Shikauliani. Namata Anekatua Shikauliani. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh Jaya Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hare, Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hare, Jaya Sachinandan, Gaura Hare, Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hare, Jaya Bhakti Vinod, Bhakti Vinod, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhakti Vinod, Jaya Bhakti Vinod, Jaya Bhakti Vinod, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhakti Vinod. O Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Haribo Champak Didi. Hare Krishna. Haribo Raseshwari Mataji. Haribo. And also, who's there? Oh, Shubhananda Prabhu. Hare Krishna. All right, so Kishore Prabhu, do you have anything to share today? Or Shubhananda Prabhu, either of you?
I was just reminded that that song Tu Udaya Sagar was sung during Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur's last days.
Oh, that was one of the main songs, huh? Sung at the very end, huh?
Yeah. It was Shirup Manjari Pada and Tu Udaya Sagar and one other song that I don't remember. Yeah, I remember hearing once that Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur requested that to be sung because, during Kartik in Chaitanya Gauriman and Gopinath Gauriman, they sing the Shikshashtakam songs along with
Yes.
the Ashkalila Leela songs written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur.
Yes.
And I think Prabhupada requested that to be sung, Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur. And as I heard that as it was being sung, Prabhupada was hitting himself on the forehead with his hand, saying, "I've not worshipped Harinam. I've not worshipped Harinam."
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Wow, so this song is extra special for us, especially. Wow. Hare Krishna Manoj Kumar ji. Hare Krishna. All right, so then I guess I'll just, we can just skim through what we read yesterday, and then begin reading Srila Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja's explanation on verse 2 and 3 of Shri Shikshashtakam. Where is it? There it is. Okay. So yesterday we completed the first part of Golden Volcano of Divine Love, which is about the life of Sachinandan Gaur Hari. We read this epilogue. It says, when Mahaprabhu returned to Navadip after 5 years of his sannyas, all the men, women, and children madly came to see him, to have a glimpse of his face. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his internal conception of the pastimes of Caitanya Mahaprabhu, draws a parallel with the pastimes of Krishna in Kurukshetra. There, Dwarka Krishna and the gopis of Vrindavan were meeting, and the gopis and gopas wanted to take Krishna from Dwarka back to Vrindavan. Bhaktivinoda Thakur expresses a similar aspiration. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to Navadip and the crowds rushed to see him, he stood on the roof of Vachaspati Pandit's house in the red dress of a sannyasi. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, taking himself as a permanent resident of Navadip and as one of the members of Srivas Angan, he envisions himself seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the rooftop. When Krishna had gone to Dwarka and wouldn't return to Vrindavan, the hearts of all the devotees were burdened with grief. In a similar way, Bhaktivinoda Thakur fervently prays, when will the day come when Nimai Pandit will give up the robes of renunciation and again come and join us in Kirtan in the house of Srivas? Now he cannot come. As a sannyasi, he cannot return to his old house. So now we are deserted by him. But our aspiration is this. Just as the gopis wanted Krishna's royal dress removed and his cowherd dress resumed, so that they could take him again to Vrindavan and play with him and rejoice. We aspire that Mahaprabhu's dress be removed and his former dress resumed. In this way, we will get back our Nimai Pandit, who is one of us, in Srivas Angan. And together we shall rejoice, taking the name of Krishna. Oh, when will that day be mine? So that's how this part 1 ends, and then we began yesterday part 2, Shikshashtakam. This is the lava coming from the golden volcano. Shikshashtakam, the precepts of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the first chapter is the holy name of Krishna. Then we went to this verse. Maybe we should just say the verse. It'd be nice to recite it. So, Cheto darpana marjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam Shreya kairava chandrika vitaranam Vidyavadhu jivanam Anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam Purnamrita svadanam Sarvatma snapanam parang vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So Srila Gosvāmī explains. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the pioneer of Shri Krishna Sankirtan. Mahaprabhu said, I have come to inaugurate the chanting of the holy name of Krishna, and that name will reach every nook and corner of the universe. Now, what is the meaning of Sankirtan? Samyak means full, and Kirtan means chanting. So together, these two words form the word Sankirtan, which generally means congregational chanting of the holy name of Krishna. But Samyak means not only in quantity, but also in quality. Full quantity means extensive in number, means congregational. There's many people. Full quality means complete praise. Complete praise can only mean the glorification of Krishna, not of any other gods. So Sankirtan means complete kirtan, a song and praise of the complete whole, the absolute truth. Anything else is only a partial representation and therefore defective to a certain extent. It's not Sankirtan. Therefore, Krishna should be praised. His glory should be chanted, for he is everything. He is the master, the dispenser of both good and bad, the absolute controller of everything. Everything is due to him. The fulfillment of all life is reached in him alone. I love this quote. Just as a horse may have reins to check his movements, but if let loose will run freely, Praise which is unchecked by any mundane purpose will run straight towards the supreme cause, Krishna. Is this, this is a bit loud, isn't it? The kirtan going on that side. Let me turn on I'm just going to turn on the... Okay. That's probably better, right? Hare Krishna. Okay. Okay, so the word Shri means Lakshmi Devi, Krishna's potency. This means that in Sankirtan, Krishna is worshipped along with his potency, for Krishna's potency is included within him. So when we say Shri Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtana, the Shri means Srimati Radhika. So it means Radha Krishna, Sankirtan of Radha and Krishna. Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu says that Sri Krishna Sankirtan should thrive throughout the world. It should be victorious without any hindrance. It should be spontaneous, unchecked, and a natural flow. It should be exclusive, independent, and without reservation. And this praise of Krishna should be congregationally chanted. That vibration is beneficial for the whole world. Only by surrender and pure devotion can we take to Sri Krishna Sankirtan. So now Srila Gosvāmī explains the 7 stages of Sri Krishna Sankirtan. What are the different stages through which we will pass while chanting the holy name of Krishna? The first stage is that it cleanses the mirror of the mind. If the mirror of the mental system is covered with dust, we cannot see things clearly, and scriptural advice cannot be properly reflected there. What are the different kinds of dust covering the mirror of the mind? Our infinite, fleeting, and organized desires are considered dust, and our hearts and minds are covered with layers and layers of this dust. Therefore, we cannot see things properly. They cannot properly reflect in our minds because it is covered with the infinite ordinary desires of this mundane world. So the first effect of Sri Krishna Sankirtan is the cleansing of the mind. The next effect of chanting the holy name is that it extinguishes the fire of material existence and the force of repeated birth and death. So first Chaitodapana Marjanam, and now is Bhava Mahādavagni Nirvarpanam. It's number 2. We are forced to come into creation and again die. The mundane wave catches the soul which mingles with that vibration in different stages. That is stopped by the second effect of Sri Krishna Sankirtan, and we become liberated. With the first stride, the intelligence is purified, Chaitodapana Marjanam, and the second stride, the holy name affects liberation from the great conflagration of threefold miseries. And threefold miseries is adhyatmic, miseries within the body and mind, such as disease and mental anxiety, adhibhotik, miseries from our neighbors, that's man, beasts, insects, and so many other living beings, and adhidaivik, natural catastrophes like famine, flood, and earthquake. The heat and cold, all those things. We have to suffer from these 3 kinds of miseries which burn in our heart like fire. But everything is extinguished forever by the second stride of Nam Sankirtan, which gives us relief. The next stage, a third stage, is Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. The holy name bestows upon us the supreme goal of life. After doing away with these 2 negative engagements, Chaitodapana Marjana and Bhava Mahādavagni Nirvarpanam, our positive engagement begins with this Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam, and ultimately takes us to reality, to the real truth, which is eternal, auspicious, and beautiful. Shreya means auspicious, doesn't it? Shreya. It takes us to that auspiciousness, which is above this world of difficulty. And in a general way, we achieve the supreme goal, the highest auspiciousness, the greatest good from chanting the holy name of Krishna. If we analyze this scrutinizingly, we find that in this stage, the holy name takes us to an intimate personal relationship with Krishna, which includes neutrality, servitude, friendship, and filial affection. Shantadasya Saka and Vatsalya Das. I love this part. Oh, I need to say this. Shreya covers the grace of Nityananda Prabhu, for it is by his grace that we may be allowed to worship Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. Nitayar Karuna Habe, Raje Radha Krishna Pabe. The next stage, now we're at number 4, is Vidya Vadu Jivanam. The holy name prepares us for the wholesale surrender to Krishna that is found in conjugal love, Madhuras, where the devotees surrender themselves infinitely at the disposal of Krishna. The next stage is Anandam Buddhivardhanam. Wait, just back on this point. Anyways, let's just continue on. The next stage is Anandam Buddhivardhanam. That's number 6. When we come to the proper level while chanting the name of Krishna, we find the transcendental ocean that is above all sorts of experience. The name comes to assert himself over us according to the degree of our surrender. And when our surrender is complete, we feel a new type of ecstatic joy. We experience an infinite ocean of joy, which is not static, but always dynamic. There we find new life and a new type of blissfulness. It never becomes stale or static, but at every moment gives us a taste of the infinite ocean of ecstasy. And now we come to the 7th and last effect of the whole of Shri Krishna Sankirtan. The last effect is that our entire existence is purified. This kind of enjoyment does not pollute, it purifies. Enjoyment generally means exploitation. Mundane enjoyment creates a reaction and a pollution. So mundane enjoyment creates a reaction and pollution attacks the enjoyer. But here, because Krishna is the aggressor, the result is purification. All enjoyment that comes from the center, from the autocratic desire of Krishna, purifies us completely. In this verse, the words Sarvatma Snapanam means that all different phases of the self, which may be conceived of, are fully satisfied and purified at once by chanting the holy name of Krishna. So this word snapanam, which means bathe, is cleansed, bathed. It means satisfied and purified completely, sarvatma. And therefore, and there is another meaning of sarvatma snapanam. What is the other meaning? If we praise Krishna, congregationally, we will be purified according to our capacity. Both the singer and the audience, as well as anyone who comes in connection with the transcendental sound, will be purified. Oh, so it means all souls will be purified. Sarvatma means either your complete self will be purified, sarva atma, or it means all the souls will be purified. Cool. Snapana means purifying. That vibration purifies everyone and everything that comes in touch with it. So Mahāprabhu says, go on with Sankirtan, the congregational chanting of the holy name of Krishna. Of course, Sankirtan must be genuine, so association with saints is necessary. It is not an empirical attempt. We are attempting to have a connection with the higher, unconditioned realm which can descend to help us here. We must have that connection with the higher reality, for that is all important. The holy name of Krishna is not mere physical sound. It is not lip deep only, but it has a greater and higher aspect. It is all spiritual. We are in the marginal plane of existence. We're in the Tatastha region. So some higher connection is necessary in order that the wave will descend from that higher realm and come to us and spread its influence outside as well. Wherever it goes, the Sankirtan of the holy name of Krishna will produce these sevenfold results. This is the purport of Mahaprabhu's first verse. Okay, so I'm going to just stop there for now. That's going to be our Srila Gosvāmī, God, this first chapter was just so full of nectar, man. But I don't want to. Yesterday we went a little bit over time, and I don't want to do that again. So I'm gonna. But yeah, I want to read this again sometime though. This is just so nice, so amazing. But now I guess we can do the Mangala Charan. Haribo and Indira Mataji. And Seshwari Mataji. Yeah, and it's on now, this noise suppression. Actually, they stopped kirtan now, so it's all good. Okay, so now we come to chapter 2, unlimited names of God, second verse of Shikshashtakam. But before we start that, we'll do the Mangalacharan. Ajnanatirandhasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tar Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ajanulambita bhujo kanakavatato sankirtanai kapitaro kamalaya Vishwambharo Dijavaro Yugadharma Palo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavataro Namastrikala Satyaya Jagannatha Sutaya Cha Sabhrityaya Saputraya Sakalatraya Te Namaha Avatirno Sakarunyo Parichinno Sarishvaro Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanando Dvau Bhrataro Bhaje Sajayati Vishuddha Vikrama Kanakabha Kamalaya Tikshana Varajanu Vilambi Sharbhujo Bahudha Bhakti Rasabhinartaka Jayati Jayati Deva Krishna Chaitanya Chandro Jayati Jayati Kirtis Tasya Nitya Pavitra Jayati Jayati Bhrityas Tasya Vishveshamurte Jayati Jayati Nrityang Tasya Sarva Priyanam. Oops, I didn't mean to say all those verses. I spaced out. Anyhow, it's better that we do more than less. Now, prayer to Sri Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra Devi. Nilachala Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadrabhyam Jagannathaya Te Namaha. Govardhana Dharam Vande Gopalam Goparupinam Gokulotsavamishanam Govindam Gopika Priyam. Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Devi Tvam Nayamam Charanantikam Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshai Kshiptashtaka Ditaranga Madhye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. All right, so Hare Krishna and Hari Prabhu And if Papatarani Mataji is there, pranams to her as well. Hare Krishna. And Haribol Gopal Ghanasham Prabhu. And anybody else there? Garg Rajji, Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. All right, so now let's begin. Verse 2 of Shikshashtakam, unlimited names of God. Let's go. So we sang the song that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote for this verse before. And after we read this, this is a very short chapter. And when we finish this, then we'll sing the song that Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote for the third verse. Nam namakari bahuda nija sarva shaktis tatrarpita niyamita smarane nakala etadrishi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi Durdaiva drisamiha janinanuraga. O my Lord, your holy name bestows auspiciousness upon all. And you have unlimited names, such as Krishna and Govinda, by which you reveal yourself. In your many holy names, you have kindly invested all your transcendental potency. And in chanting these names, there are no strict rules concerning time or place. Out of your causeless mercy, you have descended in the form of divine sound. But my great misfortune is that I have no love for your holy name. Illumination by Srila Bhakti Rakṣaka Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Here it is said, O my Lord, you have revealed the chanting of your holy names, and all your power has been invested within those names. What is the Sanskrit for that? Let's see. Nam nam akari bahuda nijasarva shaktis. Yeah, even. So bahuda, your many nam nam, that nam nam means names. It's plural for name. So it means names. I don't know what akari means, but bahuda, your many names, you've nija sarva shaktis, all your own shaktis, all your own power. You have invested into those names. So that's the first line. Oh my Lord, you have revealed the chanting of your holy names, and all your power has been invested within those names. Both the holy name of Krishna and its potency are eternal. All potencies or energies are found within the holy name of Krishna. And there is no particular time or place which has been fixed for chanting the name. It is not that one can only chant in the morning, or only after taking bath, or only after going to a holy place. There are no such conditions. One may go on chanting the holy name of Krishna anytime, anywhere, in any circumstance. I'm just remembering the story of Achyutananda, Advaita Acharya's son, when he saw Mahāprabhu holding his tongue when he went to go use the bathroom. Right? He's like, "What are you doing?" And Mahāprabhu said that I'm going to do something impure, and I can't stop chanting, but I don't want to be chanting while I'm doing something impure. And then, what did Achyutananda say? He said that but what if you all of a sudden die and you're not chanting the holy name? And then, no, I'm thinking, is that Gopal Guru? I'm thinking of Gopal Guru. Sorry, why did I say Achyutananda? I meant to say Gopal Guru. I was getting mixed up with Achyutananda because there's that story of Achyutananda correcting Advaita Acharya. But no, this time, another little boy of Mahaprabhu, Gopal Guru, he instructed Mahaprabhu that even if you're doing something impure like using the bathroom, you can still chant the holy name. And then Mahaprabhu gave him that you're even instructing me, so I give you the name Gopal Guru, something like that, right? So even when we're in the bathroom, we can chant, of course, not with our beats, but in this verse, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu says, "O Krishna, you have given a most sublime opportunity to all. You are so infinitely gracious that you have given us the service of your holy name, Nam Bhajan. Still, my misfortune is the worst. I don't find any earnest desire within me to take the name." Oh, I just see Kishore's comment. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so sorry. My misfortune is the worst. I don't find any earnest desire within me to take the name. I have no faith, no love, no tendency to take the name. I do not find any innate hankering to chant the name. What can I do? This is the second of Mahaprabhu's 8 precepts. He says, "O Lord, you have given everything from your side to lift me up from this mundane world of relativity. Your attempt to deliver me is so magnanimous that all you require from me is a little cooperation in accepting your grace. But even then, I turn a deaf ear to your magnanimous call. O Lord, I am hopeless." Wow. Oh, this is so powerful. "Oh Lord, you have given me everything from your side to lift me up from this mundane world of relativity. Your attempts to deliver me is so magnanimous that all you require from me is just a little cooperation in accepting your grace. But even then, I turn a deaf ear to your magnanimous call. Oh Lord, I'm hopeless." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us great hope in the first verse of his Shikshashtakam, or 8 precepts. He explains that the chanting of the holy name of Krishna, when properly undertaken, may progress step by step, revealing 7 consequences. The first effect is cleansing of consciousness. The second is liberation from all mundane relativity. As a third effect, positive goodness awakens within our heart and takes us to Vrindavan. Then, under the guidance of Surup Shakti, the Lord's internal energy, Yogamaya, we come to the Vadu conception. We are potency. We are to serve Krishna unconditionally. Vadhu means that ras which gives full connection with the Lord, Madhur ras. Ecstatic ocean of joy. After attaining that stage, what are the other consequences that come? One becomes a particle in the ocean of joy, and that joy is not stale or static, but ever new and dynamic. It is purifying to the utmost. Although we are allowed to keep our individual conception, still we feel that all parts of our existence become purified to the utmost when we take the name. And that's the explanation, Sarvatma Snapanam. And this will not only affect me, but all those who are connected with this Nam Sankirtan. So remember, just now in the previous chapter, Srila Śrīdhara Gosvāmī explains that Sarvatma Snapanam. Sarvatma means it will completely purify me and satisfy me, so that all parts of our existence will become purified. But Sarvatma also means all the Atmas, all souls will be purified. They will experience mass conversion. All who are connected to this Nam Sankirtan will be affected by it. They'll experience mass conversion, mass purification, the utmost purification. So these are the 7-fold results of the chanting the holy name. After mentioning this thesis in his first verse, Mahaprabhu now gives the antithesis, in the second verse. When such great hope is there in the holy name, Why are we having so much trouble when we have so much great hope there in the holy name? Why are we having so much trouble? Where is the difficulty? Why do we not realize the advantage of the magnanimous sanction of divinity found in the holy name? Inestimable grace is coming from Krishna's side. He has given us so many opportunities with the least requirement from our side. We must have some taste, some earnestness to accept the holy name. But there's the difficulty. We have none. So what hope can we have? How can we attain it? We may be approaching the holy name formally, but not from the core of our hearts. So by what process can we really benefit and make progress? The third verse answers this question. Although one may feel that he does not have the minimum required deposits to receive the grant, still, it is not a hopeless case. The very nature of this realization takes him to the conception of humility. When one begins to practice devotion toward the infinite Lord, he cannot but feel that in relation to the infinite, there's nothing of value in himself. He thinks, I have nothing to give in return. Even the minimum requirement for the Lord's grace is absent in me. That takes him to the conception that I have no qualification. I am completely empty. This is very important. What is Vaishnava humility? How do we realize, the realization takes him. How do we become humble? It's when we have some experience, some realization of the infinite Lord, then automatically you feel completely insignificant. It's the same thing goes with Guru and Vaishnavas. When we're in front of Gurudev, when we're in front of very advanced Vaishnavas, then naturally you feel like nothing compared to them. You feel completely insignificant. And so humility only comes by our connection with the higher thing, not any other way. When you're in front of a great mountain, you feel very small. A devotee feels within his heart that he is not only unfit, but too despicable for the Lord's service. Krishnadas Kaviraj Gosvāmī says, I am lower than a worm in stool and more sinful than Jagai and Madhai. Jagai Madhai hoite, mui she papishta, puri sher kita hoite, mui she logishta. We should not be discouraged when we think that we have not even the least bit of merit which is required for the service of the holy name of Krishna, for this kind of consciousness is natural for a devotee. Okay. Yes, we should not be discouraged when we think that we have not even a least bit of merit which is required for the service of the holy name of Krishna, for this consciousness is natural for a devotee. That means that there's something, if we're thinking that we're doing all right, then there's some problem. Then we know that, okay, there must be something wrong in my practice, my chanting or something. If I feel like, yeah, I'm doing, what is it? At the same time, we must guard ourselves from an insincere conception of our own devotion. This is our enemy. To think, I do not have the least liking or taste for the Lord. This is all right. But to think, I have some taste, I have some earnestness, some devotion to the Lord. That kind of thinking is dangerous. The egotistic world. If we are going to have a connection with the infinite, we must be fully empty. Our self-abnegation must be complete. Worldly attainment is a negative thing, and we must withdraw from it completely. We should think, I am nothing. I have no qualifications for being accepted or used in the service of the Lord. I am completely unfit. We must completely withdraw from the egotistic world and allow ourselves to be captured by Yoga Maya, the Lord's internal energy. As a slave has no position, the whole position is with the master. Everything is his. Realizing this is our real qualification. As soon as we assert that we have some qualifications, our difficulties begin. When do our difficulties begin? When we assert that we have some qualification. So Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu himself says, I do not find a trace of love of Krishna within my heart. Na prema gandosti darapi me haro. This is the standard of humility. And that feeling must be sincere. It must not be an imitation. We must be careful. We must not venture to imitate the highest devotees. To genuinely feel, to conceive that we possess nothing and that everything is his, that is the only qualification for chanting the holy name of Krishna. So now we come, wow, that's a perfect segue into this verse here, humbler than a blade of grass. So before we go through this, now we can sing this song by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Vidya Lalasadidi, I think there's a difference when we chant on our beads though. Because then we're touching Tulsi. And so when we're touching Tulsi, we have to be very careful. So yeah, Harinam doesn't apply in any circumstance when we're touching Tulsi, but it does apply any other time. Okay, so let's open up this song. Third verse. So, Shri Krishna Kirtane Jadi Manasa Tuhar. If you wish to engage your mind in the performance of Shri Krishna Kirtan, then you must very carefully earn the required spiritual qualification. Relinquishing your false pride, always consider yourself more lowly and insignificant than a blade of grass, destitute and worthless. Cultivate forbearance like that of a tree. Forsaking retaliation, nurture and support others. In the course of leading your life, do not give anxiety to anyone else. For the benefit of others, forget your own comforts. Even if you are a great soul endowed with all good qualities, relinquish the desire for honor and make your heart humble. Knowing Sri Krishna to be situated within all living beings, always respect and show affection to all. Endowed with the four qualities of humility, compassion, respect, and modesty, perform kirtan of the Lord. Bhaktivinoda weeping at the feet of the Lord, asks, "Oh, when will you give me such qualification?" So because the song is a bit longer, it's 8 verses, I'm going to not do lead and response. We could just sing it all together. I'm going to sing it fast also because I don't want to go too late. Shri Krishna Kirtane Jadi Manasa Tohara Parama Jatane Tahi Labhayadikara Trina Dika Hina Dina Akinchana Chara Apane Mano Bisada Chari Ahankara Trina Iksha Samakama Guna Koro Bisadana Pratihingsa Tyaji Ani Koribo Pala Koro Bipalana Jivana Nirvahe Ane Udvekana Dibe Para Upakare Nija Sukha Pasaribe Leo Sarva Gune Guni Mahashai Pratishtasha Chari Pura Amani Hridai Krishna adhishtana sarva jive jani sada karo bisamana sabe adare sarvada anya daya anyaman pratishta varjana chari gune guni hoy karo ho kirtana bhakti vinoda kandi bole prabhu pai heno yadikar kabe tibe he aman jai Sachinandan jai Gora Hari Sachinandan jai Gora Hari Thakur Bhakti Vinod jai Bhakti Vinod Bhakti Vinod jai Thakur Bhakti Vinod Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol God Hari Bol. Okay, so now we come to the third Kirtan. Trinarapi Sunichena Tororapi Sahishana. Oops. Just checking the comments 1 second. Okay. Trinarapi, so third verse of Shikshashtakam. Trinarapi Sunichena Taroriva Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. One who is humbler than a blade of grass, more forbearing than a tree, who gives due honor to others without desiring it for himself, that person is qualified to always chant the holy name of Krishna. We should mainly couch ourselves in this mood. We should think of ourselves as the meanest of the mean. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given his analysis of the meaning of this verse as follows. Even a blade of grass has its value, but we do not even have as much value as a blade of grass. We have no positive value. It is one thing if a man is not educated, but a madman is worse than uneducated. He can think, but only abnormally. Therefore, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, I have some consciousness, some intelligence, but it is all misdirected. A blade of grass has no misdirection. So this is how he wants to be even more humble than a blade of grass. A blade of grass has no misdirection. When trampled upon, it has no tendency to spring back in the opposite direction. A blade of grass can be blown here and there by a storm or by the external environment. But I will always be reluctant to go in a particular direction. If the waves of the environment want to take me in a particular direction, I try to oppose them. If you really consider my value, my position is lower than a blade of grass because I have an opposing tendency. Okay, so that's what it means. Why am I lower than a blade of grass? Because a grass doesn't oppose, but I do. My opposing tendency makes me more fallen than a blade of grass. When we want to bring ourselves in a closer relationship with the infinite goodness, we should think, I have no value. Rather, my value is negative. Not only do I don't have any value, I have a negative value. It is my tendency to oppose the Lord's grace. If Krishna wants to grace me, I try to resist. I'm constituted of such an element that I commit spiritual suicide. Krishna comes to grace me, but I oppose him. The energy that is within me tries for suicide. This is my position. But a blade of grass won't oppose anyone. I have such a nasty position. We must realize that we are in such a predicament. With this concern, we may accept the goodness of the absolute truth in the form of his holy name. Wow, so the meaning of Trinada Pisunichena is very similar, like it's very much the mood of the second verse of Namakari Bahuda Nijasarva Shaktis, isn't it? They're both very related. Okay, now Srila Srila Gosvāmī is going to explain what it means to be more tolerant than a tree. We should not think that the path will be very smooth. So many troubles may come from outside. Okay, so let's set our expectations. This path is not going to be very smooth. So many troubles may come from outside. Okay, so this is supposed to happen. We're supposed to get lots of troubles. When the devotees go to chant Hare Krishna in the street, many people come and shout, "Hey, you monkeys, red-faced monkeys." So many forms of hindrances and opposition will come and try to affect us, to dissuade us from this path. But we must practice forbearance like that of a tree. Why has the example of a tree been given? It has been analyzed in this way. If one pours any water on a tree, the tree does not protest. It doesn't say, "Oh, give me water." If anyone comes to disturb the tree, snatching its leaves, cutting its branches, or even chopping it down, a tree remains silent. It gives no opposition. We should try to see how insult, poverty, punishment, or other unfavorable dealings are necessary to purify us. And with minimal punishment, we shall be released from material existence. I wonder if that's how, because we just heard how what it means to become even more humble than a blade of grass is that we realize that we are, not only are we worthless, but we're like the opposite. We're like actually harmful. Like I'm trying to oppose the Lord when he's trying to give his mercy to me. And so that's how we're more humble than a blade of grass. Now, how do you become more tolerant than a tree? Well, we see how not only do we tolerate everything that happens to us, but we see how every bad thing that happens to us is actually a good thing because it's purifying me. These things are necessary. Every bad thing that happens is necessary for me to purify me. And with minimal punishment, we shall be released. And just with this, whatever is happening to me, from this, I'll be released from material existence. This is purifying me so that I'll be released from material existence. So that's how we become even more tolerant. Is that we welcome and we embrace all these bad things that are happening to us. We see how it's purifying me. Through Krishna consciousness, we have connected with the highest object of life, the highest fulfillment of life. So now, we have the highest fulfillment of life. So what price are we ready to pay for that? It is inconceivable. Whatever little demands may be exacted from us, we must accept with a smiling face, considering the highest goal. If we are really confident, if we have faith in our bright future, then we can gladly pay what little price nature wants to take from us. Oh, this is a great one. I'm going to save this one. Wow, isn't this so? I'm going to reread this because this is so nice. Through Krishna consciousness, we have connected with the highest object of life, the highest fulfillment of life. What price are we ready to pay for that? It is inconceivable. Whatever little demands may be exacted from us, we must accept with a smiling face, considering the highest goal. If we are really confident, if we have faith in our bright future, then we can gladly pay what little price nature wants to take from us. So if we're really focused on what we have, what we're being given, we're getting the highest thing, then no matter what happens, the worst thing that can happen to us, we see it as just a little price to pay to get this ultimate thing. Krishna, I shall teach you a lesson. This is Gaura-Kishoras Babaji Maharaj. Once Srila Gaura-Kishoras Babaji Maharaj, the spiritual master of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, was going through the town of Navadip, begging a little rice from different houses. The village people sometimes attack or insult devotees. And as he was going to his quarters, they did not even spare such an exalted soul as he. Some boys were pelting him with stones and throwing dirt at him. And he remarked, Krishna, you are cruelly dealing with me. I shall complain to your mother Yashoda about you. That was his outlook. In that way, he harmonized everything. We should learn to see Krishna in anything that comes to disturb or attack us. In philosophical calculation, of course, without God's will, nothing can happen. That's that verse, Tateno kampam susumikshamano. But in a concrete way, a devotee sees, oh, Krishna, you are backing these children. You are disturbing me, and I shall teach you a lesson, Krishna. I know how to deal with you. I shall complain to Mother Yashoda, and she will chastise you. The advanced devotees are established in the consciousness that Krishna is behind everything, and they take everything in that way. Who is it? Vamsidas Babaji Maharaj? A very similar thing. He would punish his Gaura-Nitai deities. Maybe we can, if there's time at the end, maybe we can find that little excerpt from the Pradhama book. So this attitude is our beacon of light, for it will guide us to adjust ourselves with those things that are apparently unfavorable to us. A sweet adjustment is found there. And so we are advised to be more tolerant than a tree. We may not give any opposition. Still, opposition will come to disturb us, and we must forbear. Wow, that's so how do you become more tolerant than a tree? You see how everything is coming from Krishna. You see everything in relation to Krishna, and then you become even more tolerant than a tree. And you think how lucky we are to be getting the topmost thing. So whatever price we have to pay for it, yeah, that's insignificant compared to what I'm getting. And we must show our respect to others. Okay, so those were the first two, Tornada Pisunichena and Torora Pisahishuna. And now we come to the third one, Amani and Manada, third and fourth. Manada means we must show our respect to others. Prestige is the greatest and most subtle enemy of the purity prestige is the greatest and most subtle enemy of the devotee of Krishna. It's the most subtle, it's the most difficult to detect. Pride is the worst enemy for the devotee of Krishna. And pride ultimately takes one to the conclusions of the Mayavadis, the monists. The monists say, the Mayavadis, they say, Soham, I am. They don't say Dasoham, I am subordinate, but I am the supreme element. I am that. I am he, eliminating from the consideration the fact that we are tiny and suffering in misery. So that's the biggest type of pride, to think that you're Bhagavan. Doesn't get any more big than that. All these practical things are ignored by the Mayavadis, the impersonalists. But position or ego, pratishta, is our worst enemy. In this verse, we are advised to deal with prestige and position in a special way. Yeah, what could be a bigger position than being Bhagavan? And the Mayavadis think that, yes, I am he, I am Bhagavan. So this position, this ego is our worst enemy. Okay, so let's see. In this verse, we're advised to deal with prestige and position in a special way. How is that? Let's see. The slave area of Krishna. Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu says, you must not desire respect from anyone or even from the environment itself. At the same time, you must give prestige to everyone and everything in the environment according to its position. So Amani means we should not desire any respect from anything or anyone in the environment, and Manada. We must give prestige to everyone and everything in the environment according to its position. Show respect, but don't desire respect from outside. We must be very particular about this, for pride is our hidden enemy, our worst enemy. If we can somehow avoid or conquer this enemy of pride, we will be able to enter into the slave area of Krishna and join those who have given their lives wholesale in sacrifice to him. So this is how we are able to enter into the slave area of Krishna. Otherwise, we are blocked from that. We can never become Krishna's servant. The general meaning of this verse is, never seek position or prestige from any quarter. At the same time, give honor to one and all according to your understanding. A great insult. When our spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, went to Vrindavan in the early 1930s, he rode a motor car. In those days, this was unheard of for a saint. One day, a priest insulted our guru by deprecating the position of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, the preceptor of our highest conception of spiritual achievement. He's our Prayojanacharya, right? So this priest, he boasted, we are not only residents of the Holy Land, but members of the caste of high priests of Brahmanas. Therefore, we can offer our benedictions to Das Goswami, to Raghunath Das Goswami. He was born in a low-class family, and he himself asked such a benediction from us. Of course, in great humility, Das Goswami once prayed, Guru Goshte Goshta Laishu Sujane Bhu Suragane Samantre Shri Namne Vrajana Vayuvad Vandvasharane Sadadang Bhang Hitva Kururate Mapurvam Atitaram Aye Swantar Bhratash Chatubhirabiyache Dritabada. So in this verse, these are the two words, Goshtalaishu, which means residents of the Dham, and Bhusurgan refers to the Brahmanas. So they're thinking, oh minds, my brother, I fall at your feet and implore you, give up all pride and always taste ecstatic love while remembering the divine guide, the holy abode of Vrindavan, the cowherd, the divine guide, that's Shri Guru, the holy Bodha of Vrindavan, the cowherds and milkmaids of Vraj, that's the residents of Vrindavan, the loving devotees, the Sujan of the Supreme Lord, Shri Krishna, and the gods on earth, or pure Brahmanas. The Gayatri Mantra, the holy names of Shri Krishna, and the divine youthful couple of Vraj, Shri Radha Govinda Sundar. So that priest remarked, we are residents of the holy abode of Vrindavan, Goshtalaishu, and we are Bhusurgan, we are Brahmanas as well. So we are in a position to give benedictions to Raghunath Das Goswami. Upon hearing these words, our Guru Mahārāja, who was at Radha Kund at that time, began fasting. He remarked, I have to hear this? This fellow is under the control of lust, anger, and greed, and he says that he can show his grace to Raghunath Das Goswami, the most respected preceptor in our line, and I am to hear that? Without retaliating against his remarks, he decided to fast. We also stopped eating, and our whole camp began fasting. Then a local gentleman who came to know that the whole camp was fasting managed to find the blasphemous priest and bring him to our Guru Mahārāja. That priest begged to be pardoned. Our Guru Mahārāja was satisfied, and after showing him some respect, finally broke his fast. At that time, someone told our Guru Mahārāja, they are all ignorant fools. Why should you be so affected by his words? You should ignore it. Our Guru Mahārāja said, if I were an ordinary Babaji and heard such a remark, I could simply cover my ears and go away. But I am playing the part of an acharya, one who teaches by example. What justification do I have for riding in a motor car if I do not oppose the remarks against my Gurudev? Repeatedly, he used this expression. Why am I driving a motor car here in Vrindavan? He said. Had I been a Nishkinchan Babaji, a saint living in seclusion and wearing only a loincloth, I would have given no opposition to this man. To save myself, I would simply leave the place and go elsewhere. But because I am riding in a big motor car in the post of an acharya, a teacher, I must defend the dignity of the great devotees. I have accepted this charge and cannot evade these circumstances. I must face it and do everything in my power that such things may not go on undetected or unopposed. I must face it. So that is real humility. We're going to hear this now. Humility must be adjusted or modified in its practical application. One second. Okay. Humility must be adjusted or modified in its practical application. Once, when a Hare Krishna temple was attacked, a gun was used by the devotees to defend the temple. Later, there was a complaint among the local people. They said, "Oh, they are humble? They are tolerant? Why have they crossed the advice of Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu to be humbler than a blade of grass and more tolerant than a tree? They can't be devotees." So many complaints were coming to me, but I defended them by saying, "No, they have done rightly. The instruction to be humbler than a blade of grass means one should be humble to the devotee, not to a madman." So you can still use a gun in the service of the Lord, and it's still being humbler than a blade of grass. Yeah. The general class of men are ignorant. They are mad. They do not know what is good or bad, so their consideration has no value. Who is qualified to judge whether a devotee is offering? I don't want to when I say you can use a gun in the service of Krishna, don't take that in the wrong way. Sorry. So the general class of men are ignorant. They are mad. They do not know what is good or bad, so their consideration has no value. Who is qualified to judge whether a devotee is offering respect to all and not expecting any for himself? Who will judge whether he is really humble and tolerant? Madmen? Will they judge it? Because what is humility? Humility is how we see ourselves in position to the Lord, how we feel ourselves insignificant in comparison to Guru Vaishnavas like that. So that is humility. And is some madman, are they going to be able to see how we see ourselves in relation to the pure Vaishnavas? Ignorant people? Have they have any sense to judge who is humble, who is tolerant, and who is respectful to others? Their whole conception of humility is completely mundane. So there must be a standard by which to judge humility. We are interested in the criterion given by higher thinkers, not the consideration of the ignorant masses. The standard of humility. Of course, anyone may deceive the ordinary public with superficial humility, but a show of humility is not real humility. I noticed I was starting to do that with my Vine of Devotion articles. I was being very honest in them, but actually that honesty was just a show of humility. It wasn't real humility. Humility must come from the heart, and it must have a real purpose. Everything, humility, tolerance, and pridelessness, must be considered by the judgment of a standard, normal person, not by the ignorant, by the standard. Sorry. Wait. Let me read that. Everything, humility, tolerance, and pridelessness, must be considered by the judgment of a standard, normal person, not by the ignorant who are like elephants, tigers, and jackals. Okay, so I guess a normal person refers to the Vaishnavas. They are normal. Everybody else is just elephants, tigers, and jackals. So they should. Should they be allowed to judge what is humility, what is audacity and impertinence? Of course not. Should a devotee think, the deity and the temple is about to be molested, so I shall stand and but I shall stand by and do nothing. I should be humble and tolerant. A dog is entering the temple. I should show him respect. No, this is not real humility. We must have a normal conception of reality. We must not allow these anomalies to continue in the name of offering respects to others. We must not think that we may allow anyone to harm the devotees or molest the temple, that we shall allow the dog to enter the temple. And by doing this, we are humble and tolerant. We are showing all respects to others. No, we are not interested only in the physical meaning of the scriptures, but we are interested in the real meaning, not just the external shallow meaning, but we're interested in the real deep meaning. That I am humble means that I am a slave of a Vaishnav. Das anudas anudas. That is real humility. With that consciousness, we must proceed. If anyone comes to molest my master, I should first sacrifice myself, thinking, because I am of the least importance, my sacrifice is no loss. I must sacrifice myself to maintain the dignity of my guru, the devotees, and my Lord and his family. We must always understand what is to be. I'm just thinking like that means also our pride. Like when we're called on to stand up and speak, I like freeze with fear and I can't think. My mind goes crazy, and that's because I'm not willing to sacrifice myself. Because sacrifice my pride. I want everyone to think I'm really intelligent because I'm afraid that people are going to think I'm stupid. I'm not willing to sacrifice my own honor, what people think of me. Sorry, that's unrelated, kind of unrelated. But anyways, yeah, we must always understand what is to be honored. We offer our respects to the highest truth, the Lord of Lords. Our dealings should be in consonance with that. If we always keep the highest conception of relativity within us, we will see that we are the lowest. If there is danger to our guardians, we shall sacrifice ourselves. All of this should be taken into account when trying to understand the real meaning of humility, not physical imitation, but genuine humility. It is a question of practical realization. Fame and honor must be given to the Lord and his devotees, not to anyone else. In the higher stages of devotion, of course, humility may have to be adjusted in another way for the Paramahansa Babajis, the topmost swan-like saints who have given up all connection with this material world. But in the preaching stage, the second-class devotee must accept things differently. As our Guru Mahārāja said, had I been in the role of a Babaji, a non-assertive, reclusive saint, I would have walked away from the place without offering any opposition. But when we are preaching and have taken the responsibility of leading so many souls to the domain of the Lord, our adjustment must be made accordingly. Generally, we may be indifferent to those who are personally inimical to us. Yeah, so to those who are personally inimical to us, we may be indifferent. But when we preach on behalf of the Lord in an organized way, our duty changes. We cannot be indifferent to antagonists. It is mentioned in the scriptures by Jiva Gosvāmī that according to one's own particular status, these things should be taken into consideration and the necessary things should be done. Jiva Gosvāmī has given his decision that if the devotee has a position of power, if he is a king, and if someone repeatedly blasphemes a real Vaishnav or a saintly person, then the king should enforce corporal punishment by banishing the offender from his state or by cutting out his tongue, Vaishnav Nindak Jiva Hata. That is not the duty for ordinary persons. If they act in such a way, there will be a riot. we should not be eager to inflict physical punishment upon anyone. Hanuman is a Vaishnava, but he is seen to destroy so many lives. The same is true of Arjuna and so many other devotees. Even Krishna and Ramachandra are also seen to kill so many demons in war. Simply a physical, Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswāmī would always give that example of Hanuman when he burnt down Lanka. He said, do you think people didn't die in that fire? He said, many people were burned to death in that fire. And so will we say that Hanuman is not humble? That's not an act of humility? So our understanding of humility is completely different. Simply a physical show of meekness does not constitute the real meaning of humility. When there is an insult to the Guru or the Vaishnavas, a devotee will oppose the blasphemers according to his might. So I guess the more might we have, the more position, the more power we have, the more responsibility we have to oppose the blasphemers. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in one of his songs, says that we should not only tolerate the evil doings of others and a disturbing environment, but we should do good to So we should not only tolerate the evil doings of others in a disturbing environment, but we should do good to those by whom we are being tortured. The example is given of a tree. One who is cutting the tree gets the shade and comfort from, one who is cutting the tree gets shade and comfort from the tree even while cutting it down. In conclusion, he says that humility, mercy, respect for others, and renunciation of name and fame are the 4 qualifications for chanting the holy name of Krishna. We are the meanest of the mean. We should always be conscious that we are beggars. We should think, although I am a beggar, I've come to beg for the highest thing. Let no disturbance dissuade me from my attempt. At the same time, our attitude toward the environment should be respectful. In this way, by becoming educated in the Krishna conception of divinity, everyone should be given respect according to his position. It is the guiding instruction in the worship of the holy name in Nam Bhajan that we must take the position of the slave, of the slave, of the slave of the Lord. If you want to chant the name of Krishna, then don't waste your energy with the trifling things of this world. Don't allow your attention to be disturbed by tiny acquisitions like prestige or gain, which is relative to money or physical comfort. So any prestige or gain that we get, this is just a tiny acquisition. Don't be disturbed by it. Don't allow our attention to be like that. Somebody says something great. Oh, wow, that was an amazing kirtan. Oh, wow, blah, blah, blah. Then it's so insignificant. Don't be disturbed by that. Remember, you are trying for the greatest thing, and all other things are very small in comparison to Krishna consciousness. So don't waste your energy and valuable time. Be economical. You have the chance to achieve the highest goal of life. Wow, that is great. I'm just going to read those last 2 sentences again. Don't allow your attention to be disturbed by tiny acquisitions like prestige or gain, which is relative to money or physical comfort. Remember, you are trying for the greatest thing, and all other things are very small in comparison to Krishna consciousness. So don't waste your energy and valuable time. Be economical. You have the chance to achieve the highest goal of life. Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Rakṣaka Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai. Golden Volcano of Divine Love Ki Jai. Shri Shikshashta Ki Jai. Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. All right, so does anybody have anything that they want to share? Any thoughts from what we read? If not, then we can continue. We'll do kirtan and end for today. But, oh, one thing I want to mention. Tomorrow I am going to I'm going on a big parikrama tomorrow, going to like all different places in Goramandal, and we're going to be leaving early in the morning. So I'm not going to be able to do a reading tomorrow. I'm going to do the japa session and recite all the stotrams, and then right after that, I have to take off for, yeah, we're taking off. So what I'm planning on doing is pre-recording a video today. I'm not going to read from Golden Volcano of Divine Love because I really like doing that together with all of you live, but maybe I'll read, maybe I can read other articles by like by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. There's some articles in Rays of the Harmonist about Shikshashtakam. And so maybe I could read from those. I'll pre-record that, and then I'll make those videos go live at the normal time at 7 o'clock in the morning. So so then we won't break our daily flow of reading the words of our acharyas. We'll keep that vrat going throughout these 5 months, but it won't be so interactive. And I won't be going on Zoom at all. I'm just looking at the I'm just seeing all things acoustic by Vic. This saddens me. Good day. Okay, I don't know what you're referring to, but yeah. And Dandavat Pranam, I can't see your name there, but Hare Krishna. All right, so then I guess I'll end with Kirtan if you don't have anything to share. What melody should we do? Oh, I'm going to shut off the noise suppression. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki Jai, Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ju ki jai. Jai Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Ju ki jai. Jai Srila Gurudev ki jai. Srila Param Gurudev ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Rupa Nugagoriya Guru Varga ki jai. Swaparshad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Gan ki jai. Shri Giriraj Mahārāja ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Shri Purushottam Vrat ki jai. Vrat Palan Kari Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Golden Volcano of Divine Love, Shri Shachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai. The lava of the Golden Volcano of Divine Love, Shri Shikshashtak ki jai. Srila Bhakti Rakṣaka Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams everybody. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol, Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat pranam Prabhu.
Haribo, Dandavat Prabhu.
Dandavat. Hare Krishna. Haribo, Bhavatarani Mataji, Hare Krishna. And Kishore Prabhu and Shubhananda Prabhu, Indira Mataji, Dandavat Pranams, Vidya Lala Sadidi, Gargraj Ji, Raseshwari Mataji, Manoj Kumar, Govinda Saha, Karuna Didi. You've been with me for 3 hours and 15 minutes now, Karuna Didi, right? Ganga Mataji, and everybody there. Hare Krishna, everybody. Jai Shri Radhe. I feel a little bit.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Kishore. There's somebody watching. I'm not sure if he's still watching. If you are, yeah. But there's All Things Acoustic by Vic Anderson, and I'm just, like, we're reading Srila Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja's words, and I don't know if you don't, like, oh God. Anyways, doesn't matter. It just must sound so strange that, like. So heavy, like what we're reading, and I don't know how it comes across for. Anyways, whatever, what to do. All right, Hare Krishna, everybody. I'll see you all tomorrow with a live, a pre-recorded reading. Jai Shri Radhe. Okay, Hare Krishna.